Today I'm going to talk about flashcards. When I first started learning languages, I would buy pre-made packs of language flashcards. This box, for example, has, I don't know, several thousand flashcards in it. Oh, you may hear my dog snoring in the background. I never knew dogs could snore so loudly. This one does, so excuse that. Anyway, I found these flashcards to be enticing because they were pre-made, but they actually didn't work very well. Here are some examples of some of the flashcards. They had fixed words on them and some English translation on the back. And I put them away, and I really didn't use flashcards very much for a while. Then I started to get hooked onto Anki and Memrise for flashcards for a short while, and then I started to realise I didn't enjoy those anymore. Then several months ago, I decided to revisit flashcards and take a slightly different approach to them, an approach which works for me, and I'm going to talk about that now. So, the most important question for flashcards for me is to ask, what are they for? And when I thought about this, it actually changed the way I use them. I realised that flashcards are actually to help me to remember things that I keep forgetting, and this forgetting aspect is important. If I don't forget something, there's no need to have a flashcard for it. But if I do forget something, and if I forget it frequently, then a flashcard can really help. So it's the forgetting aspect that's important here. Okay, so for this you need to notice what you forget. Previously, early on in my language learning, I would have just ignored things that I forgot. But now for quite a while now, I focus on what I'm actually forgetting. And in terms of words, I noticed it's often only one or two aspects of the word. For example, what the word is, the translation. Or it may be that I know the word but not how to spell it. Or perhaps I know the spelling but not the pronunciation. Or maybe I know the word and its spelling and pronunciation but not how to actually use it in a real life sentence. And so on. And so what I decided was I would pay attention not just to the words I forgot, but which aspects of those words I forgot, and then create minimal flashcards focused on just that thing that I'm forgetting. Everything else would be superfluous, getting in the way, resulting in bulky cards that I found boring or too many cards. And then, more importantly, once I was using flashcards that only had this minimal stuff on them, when I found a card didn't work and didn't help me to remember something I had forgotten, then I had to update the card. That would mean throwing the card away or adding something to it. And from this, I realised that flashcards actually have to be very personal. Taking somebody else's shared deck or a pre-printed deck may not be the ideal for you because it isn't focused upon what you're forgetting. So you need really to make your own cards. This I found was vital. Pre-made decks weren't working for me. Making my own cards does work because I now pay attention to what cards I actually need. So you have to think hard then on memory triggers for yourself. Why am I forgetting this aspect, and what can I do to overcome that? What will help me to remember better? I'll show you some examples. So cards in a sense then become living things for me because what I remember and what I forget changes over time. So I need to scrap cards when they no longer work, expand them if there's something missing, shrink them if some aspect I now know, perhaps throw the card away, rewrite it, or just cross something out. Yeah? And really vital, this is one reason I now prefer paper cards over something like Memrise or Anki. Fast access to the cards is vital. If I have to start up my computer or start up an app on my phone, that wastes valuable seconds where I think, I won't bother. Whereas if I have something quick, a quick paper card, I can just access it in a fraction of a second and use it really quickly. And really importantly, it's got to be fast to update the card. I find that with a lot of these cards that are pre-made or with cards that are online, you're either in an edit mode or a review mode. And that makes no sense to me because it's often the very moment of reviewing a card is when I realise, oh, that didn't work because of such and such a thing, or I know that, blah, blah. If you have to flip into an edit mode to make changes, you think, I won't bother. But if you can quickly scribble on the card, very quickly as you're looking at it, then it's always a fresh card. It's always got your quick, immediate insights, and the pain of making changes is minimal. It's effortless. So originally, I was making flashcards on small... Oh, can you hear my dog snoring? I'm so sorry about that. That dog snores like crazy. So originally I was making flashcards like many of the pre-made ones I've seen on cards like this, like the size of a business card. But that became useless, I realised, because I couldn't put very much on it. Usually just one word, or perhaps writing very, very small. But they were just too small. So I flipped over to using these index cards, which have the advantage of more space. And for a while that was fine, but they don't have portability. They ended up being too big, so I would just leave them at home and not take them with me. What I eventually found to be perfect was these playing cards, you know, like game cards. You can actually buy blank ones. I bought 1,000 cards for something like £10 on Amazon. Just search for blank playing cards, and they're quite a good size to put in my pocket. I can take a stack of them with me. They're quite firm, like playing cards, and durable, slightly waxed in a sense, so they last a long time, and I find them to be the ideal size, these playing cards. So recently I've been making them over the past few months for Italian. Here's ones I'm reviewing at the moment, and let me show you the kind of stuff that's on them. So as I said, I want them to be minimal, only the thing that I know I'm missing. So for example, here's a card for the word spoon, which in Italian I noticed didn't remember the word very often, didn't know how to say it. So on the back, what I have written on here is, in this case, 3 things: the Italian spelling, in different colour, how to pronounce it, cucchiaio, do you see this? Cucchiaio. And then I've split out, using my own system here, the syllables are separated with dots, and the stressed word has got a little hat over the top of it. And then I write a mnemonic, something I can remember it with. So a spoon has a reflection in it of a cook with a key in his eye. Cook key eye. Cucchiaio. Yeah? So that's how I remember that word, and it's covering the 3 things I didn't know: spelling, pronunciation, and a hook. Whereas some things don't need that. Some things like this number, 228, I don't need a sentence for how to use that. All I needed was the translation. Huh? Because what's important about this one, by the way, is I would have originally have thought it would be 228, but importantly, when you've got venti and a vowel, the I disappears. So that helped me remember that. In other cases, so the word for some, I've written here 2 sample sentences, because I could remember the word actually, which is qualche, and I could remember the pronunciation pretty easily. But I wanted to understand the use of it, because in Italian you can say some in several different ways. So here are 2 sample sentences. I'm not going to bother getting into the details of it, but I needed notes on use of them. And again, this is very specific to what I'm missing in each word, what I don't remember. Yeah. Here's one where I've actually included a picture. So to go up, I could never remember the word to go up. So here's a sentence: you have to go up the stairs. But in addition to this, I put a picture. the story behind this is that when I was a schoolboy 100 years ago, there was a beautiful girl in my class called Sally Preston. Oh, I loved her when I was 13. And here, going up the stairs, I remember seeing Sally Preston going up the stairs and I was staring at her. Or the other word in English for staring is leering. So now, when I think of go up, I think of leering at Sally Preston going up the stairs. So, salire, yeah? Me leering at Sally going up the stairs. It works for me. It's a very personalised card. You would never get that mnemonic in a pre-made set. So, this is my overall message. Cards have to be personal to you. Pre-made sets are not. So, at least for me, I need to know exactly what it is I'm forgetting and then to work out how to remember that one aspect in a way that's very personal. And then I find that I have only the cards I need. The cards only cover the things that I need them to cover. And importantly, the cards remain alive. If I've put a memory aid on a card and find it doesn't work, it's always in edit mode as I'm reviewing it. Just pick up a pen and quickly add to it. And that makes the cards to me immensely usable. They're no longer a burden. I find them helpful. Thank you very much.